Welcome back, everyone. Okay, I'm super excited about this conversation that is happening today. First and foremost, welcome back to F What They Told You podcast. I've been doing this thing for the first few episodes alone, but I started to think about it like, what if I could put people on to my friends, the people who inspire me, the people who are out here doing the thing, and the people who are real, right? We always talk about the gurus who are selling you the empty shows and delivering nothing but fluff. What if you could meet some of my friends who are delivering the fill in the blank? Today, I'm going to talk to none other than Jay White, first name, last name. If you are on Instagram, then you know him. If you're on Clubhouse, I actually was blessed through a friend of mine who saw him speak live on Clubhouse. And I said, you know what? I think I want another stream of income in government contract. And my friend says, well, the only person to talk to is Jason White. And I remember messaging him and saying, hey, I got your information from a friend of mine. And I'm thinking, this man is going to come back all stiff. And he was not only professional, he was like, I got you. That's his number one line is, I got you. So with that said, Jason, welcome to F What They Told You podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Miss Taylor. How you feeling? F What They Told You. I'm feeling the name. You know,
I know.
I'm feeling.
I know.
You.
I know. You know what? I think you resonate so much with the title and why I came up with the title, because you are the epitome of F What They Told You. Let me show you game. You're the epitome of, you know, when you talk about PhD, which I'm going to have you break down in a minute, you know, the world think is PhD and what you ended up having as your PhD, and literally how now you put yourself in a position to live a life of genuine freedom. And you're not out here selling garbage. You know, you're not leveraging other people. One of the things I love about you, and I could go on, is that you do not post cars and stuff to get people in. Like, you literally post facts. Yes, and receipts. Okay. So with that said, Jason, introduce yourself to the people before I get all hyped about it.
That's what's up. See, y'all, me and Miss Taylor go way back. We got real history, and she's a phenomenal woman. She's dope. So I'm Jay White, first name, last name, right? I teach people how to obtain federal government contracts by subcontracting them out. Don't see the work, don't touch the work, don't see what the work is happening, don't see the workers doing the work, and creating residual income with the federal government and getting contracts. So that's what I do. That's what I've been doing. And that's what I currently do. A lot of times when people are packaging information, it's information that they used to do from way back when. My company in 2022 has already been awarded 4 federal government contracts. And we just in the beginning of, or in the middle of February. So I'm still rocking and rolling. My information is current. And that's what my students are gaining the results that they're getting. Whatever their results are based off applied knowledge, because knowledge is the power. You have to apply the knowledge to make it powerful.
Yes. I love that. So first and foremost, let's check one of his receipts. He's talking about getting 4 new government contracts. He posted one of them and it was a renewal. So I want y'all to know that he doesn't just teach you how to get it. He literally gets the federal government reaching out to him to renew contracts for multiple bases. So we're going to break it down in a little bit. But first, I want them to get to know you, because I believe your success is not just your strategies, it's also your mindset. I think your mindset is really beautiful because it's a mix of grit, a mix of perseverance, right? So you are very persistent. You have your story of perseverance to me is brilliant. And the grit that you have because you never give up. So tell us, how did you come into government contract? Because that story I love.
Yeah. Because it's the truth, right? It's true. So I'm working at the gas station, just kicking it. Man, you know, I'm going to go back further than that. Coming out of high school, I had no direction, like legit. I had no direction. But I was blessed to be able to get a PhD, a public high school diploma. I was blessed to get that. I barely graduated, right? A lot of people, they chuckle when I say that, but that's just my life. You know, school wasn't my thing. I couldn't learn. I felt like I'm not gonna say couldn't, but I was really bored in school, like legit. I just didn't want to sit there and hear the teacher talk me to death, blah, 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 blah. And I just wasn't learning what I wanted to learn because I was really bored. So coming out of high school, I was really I had no direction. So fast forward, I ended up just working at a gas station. It was around the corner from my mom's house. I could walk there. So I was like, cool, let me just work at the gas station. The crazy thing is, I'm super competitive. I'm very competitive. So even though I was working at the gas station, I was like, all right, look, I'm gonna work at the gas station and I'm gonna work my way up to be the manager. After I work my way up to be the manager, someday I'm gonna try to own the gas station. Like that, my goal was all things the gas station. Even though most people would look at that as, all right, I ain't gonna be here for a while. I looked at it as, all right, I'm gonna dominate. I'm gonna be the best gas station attendant there ever was, like flat. But as I'm working at the gas station, my homeboy came up to the gas station late night when I was going to get off and said, hey, he's getting ready. He's like, I'm getting ready to get a government contract in trucking. And I was like, what's a government? I didn't even have a clue what a government contract was. That whole time, no clue what it was. He was like, just hit me when you get off work. I said, I bet I got you. I get off work around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I hit him up. No answer. Keep hitting him up, no answer. Well, I found out the next morning that my boy got locked up that night. So I couldn't even continue to ask him questions about what he was talking about and the thing he was getting into. Here's another thing that really sparked my interest. The individual, the vessel that was coming from, because he said federal government contract, that was so different and way out of his lane than anything he's ever said to me before. And because he brought it to me and it was so different, I had to just pay attention. So even though he went to prison that same night, it sparked my interest into getting into government contract. So that's how I jumped into it.
That is so key because you said so many things there, and I want to go back to a few of them. The first thing that I want to go back to is the mindset. And I want to keep bringing this up because the podcast is called F What They Told You. And a lot of us are focused on what other people told us, but we're not realizing that most of the time that things that's causing a limiting belief is the stories we tell ourselves, right? 100%. And you touched on being at the gas station and having yourself say, I'm going to be the best in this. You didn't look down on it. You didn't look down on your situation. You didn't mention this, but you used to play ball. And so you had gone to college to play ball, but that did not work out. Most people would have been negative because they have an idealistic perspective of how life should be. But for you, it was, how do I use what I have right now? You know, and Bishop T.D. Jakes always says, what do you have in your hand? You know, there's a scripture that talks about the woman, the widow woman, and the prophet says to her, what do you have in your house? She was saying she has just enough, and then she's going to die. The creditors are coming, and she's worried that they're going to take her son. And he says, what do you have in your house? The next thing you said was, the person, the vessel, and I love that you said vessel, the vessel that was bringing the information to you, the person who ended up getting locked up by the federal government the next day is telling you about federal government contract. And the same story with the widow woman, she literally is the vessel. The prophet says to her, what do you have in your house? What empty vessels? He says, take all the empty vessels and then bring them to your neighbor and get more empty vessels. So you literally understand the association that people would literally look at you and say, if he can do it, I can do it. If I can resonate with him, he can do it. Tell me what it looked like for you to shift from this one focused vision, which I find you to be a very focused person, because even right now, everything is government contract. You know, you have real estate, you have various things. I'm not going to talk business, but you have various things going on for you with your multiple streams of income. But you use one strategy, one system, and one approach, and it's been government contract. Talk to me about the mindset shift that needed to happen or that took place for you to shift from, I'm in the gas station, I'm going to be best attendant, to being, if this is possible for him, I got to learn this thing.
It's crazy because when you're in a mindset shift, at least for me back then in 2008, I didn't know that my mindset was actually shifting. I wasn't a guy that read books. I wasn't a guy that did personal development. I wasn't a guy that was around a lot of positivity. So I didn't even have a clue as I'm going down this rabbit hole of federal government contracting all on my own. I had no mentors. I had YouTube University, but in 2008, it was terrible. Like it was really bad. The information was so bad, I had to piece it together. That's why it took me 3 years to win my first contract, because I just couldn't figure it out, because I didn't have a guiding light. in 2008, I didn't even know that my mindset was actually shifting. Once I figured out that my mindset was shifting when I won my first contract, and I'm excited to tell everybody around me, and they are still trying to figure out what we doing tonight. What we doing tonight on the block? Like, what's this next thing that's happening? Or are you coming to this meeting? Little meetings we have in the back alley. You still coming? I'm like, I just won a federal government contract. Like, are y'all listening to me? Like, did y'all hear what I'm saying? I'm done with all that. I'm done. Like, and that's how I knew, okay, my mindset has been shifting for the last 3 years. I don't think like that anymore. I still talk the same way, but my verbiage is different, right? I'm still aggressive, but I'm aggressive towards business. I'm still understanding how to communicate, but I'm not communicating with these guys. I'm communicating with these guys. Like, I didn't know I was shifting until I looked up, it came up for air, and my environment around me, I didn't even recognize it anymore. So when we talk about the mindset shifting, everything from my past helped me. I didn't know it back then, though, helped me to propel myself in business today. My communication skills, being direct and straightforward, understanding how to just continually be myself, but have people be relatable whatever room I go to. All those skills I was maturing back then when I was acting crazy for the business world today. So the mindset shift is strong. It's a thing. And I got to teach my students that on a daily basis. Change. I tell a lot of my students, throw your whole brain away. Don't even worry about your brain. Throw it all away. Start all over. I got you. I'm gonna hold you down. But the mindset shift is key.
Yeah, that's such good information. You said so many things there that we could unpack. You said, when you're in a mindset shift, you don't know it's happening. Because for one, we talk about unconscious incompetence. You like to make fun of me talking about the corporate side. You're
real corporate, but you're speaking the truth right now, so it's good.
Yeah, so there's the unconscious incompetence, which is we don't know what we don't know. And so a lot of people are being negatively influenced by their environment, by their friends, by their association. Show me 4 broke person. If you're hanging with them, you're the 5th one, right? If you are around 4 drama people, then chances are if they're your friends, you're the 5th one. So guilty by association, but most people have unconscious incompetence. Like most of your students who become your students, they don't know that government contract can be done easily. And that's something we'll talk about in a little bit, how you use your methodology to break it down for them. But I want to go back even further where you said your past helped you to become the person that you are today. You literally use the experience. So a lot of people think, why did my life have to go this way? Why did this thing didn't work? But the things that the teachers didn't like about you, the things that got you in trouble, the things that made you seem unfocused is the actual thing that makes you focus, is the actual thing that makes the contract specialist fall in love with you, and is the actual thing that has them come in right back. And your students sticking with you, and every single Wednesday, they're literally going live and loving the energy that you bring. So I want you to talk to us about what piece of advice would you give to somebody? You say throw your own whole brain away, but don't throw your experiences away because they do inform, right? So talk to me about that.
So I use that analogy, throw your whole brain away, because a lot of times people come into federal government contracting with preconceived notions. They did their research. You got the research, right? So they think it's one way and it's totally opposite. So I gotta unlearn them so they can actually learn and be successful and get the results that they want. Now, you don't want to get rid of your experiences, because a lot of individuals come in with experiences, but their skill set from those experiences aren't cultivated. They aren't grown. They aren't healthy yet. They got the skill set there, but they haven't practiced that skill set in so long. A lot of people are email heavy. I get on the phone a lot. A lot of people, when they get on the phone, now they don't even know how to hold the right conversation. So I got to teach them how to properly do that, because building rapport is one of the ways that you can win and obtain federal government contracts, but build relationships. Everybody believes that they can talk on the phone and, I can talk to a room full of people. Okay, well, show me then. And then when they get in that room full of people, or just on a phone call and I'm standing beside them, half the people can't even remember their company name. So it's a skill set that they may have, but they don't develop it. So I just encourage developing the basic skills, communicating versus emailing so much, and then using your words to be relatable. Relate to this individual so they can know you're human, because you have to have human to human interaction before you can have business to business interaction. And that's a key bridge that I hope my students connect to.
Oh, and what's funny is it's hard for someone to know both of you and not see how both of you are so much alike. Very different, but very alike. And the person I'm referring to is Wall Street Trapper, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys, to me, you are so much alike in terms of your experience. All of your experiences are not the same, obviously, but your experiences are the same in terms of you coming on to game, and you literally don't need to teach a course because the contract that you have, I think it was over 40 the last time I checked, but we haven't spoken in a minute, right? And you literally have multi 7 figures and you have multi 5 figures a month, and you don't perform any work, and you're wise enough to reinvest your profits from your business into other things. And what I love about you is that you literally are the type of person that you don't live above means. Like, you're very simple, easygoing. You're not putting on a show. You're not trying to pretend. Literally, you're a jeans and white t-shirt and a cap all day,
100%,
every day.
100%.
Right? So what I love, though, about the two of you is what you're doing for your community. You've literally seen that in our community, the statistics just came out that our spending power went up, but or investment capacity went down. And as you and I are in certain communities, we're seeing a lot more people make 6 and 7 figures. However, that's a small percentage of the total community. And having you and Wall Street Trapper, you in particular, because this is who I have in front of me, but having you, you talk about your friend who came to you with the idea and him being so relatable, you caught on. I think having you, and I remember the first time I had a conversation with you, it was so simplistic. And immediately, I think if you've never taught me any other lesson, and it wasn't like a direct lesson, but it was something that I've learned and I've been learning ever since, is how do I oversimplify everything I do? The way I speak, the way I communicate, so that people not only are not intimidated by what I'm saying, but they listen, receive it, and they run towards me all the time. And I think that's something that you're so flipping good at. Even when I hear you speak to contract specialists, you literally immediately you build rapport. You should write a book on how to build rapport in 30 seconds or less and generate 7 figures. Like, literally, that's your book topic.
Miss Taylor, I think it's important, right, to understand that I want to like you and I want you to like me so we can do business together. But just having a basic conversation to be relatable, a lot of people don't understand just that part. Right? They want to hurry up and be so businessy. Like, we're going to do business. Don't worry about that part. But let me get to know you as quickly as I possibly can so we can start to do business. So you can say, as a sense of familiarity with this person. Because a lot of times people say to me, oh, you remind me of such and such. You remind me of, I know that. And that's good because that's a sense of comfort, sense of familiarity. Like, now I'm a part of something that they do on their own. And now I'm in there. And I utilize that. And I got that from being a class clown in school, always trying to make the teachers and students laugh, right? But not even knowing that I'm building up to a J White first name, last name in the future in 2022, not knowing that I'm cutting up in class today to have success in the future. So that's key, man. Shout out to my guy, Trap. We talk a lot. We text, we FaceTime every now and then. So just like you said, we cut from the same cloth, and these type of personalities can go to any room, be relatable, break information down so people can easily digest it so they can start to execute. It's all about execution. I'm not trying to talk over somebody's head like this, say a whole bunch of 7 and 8 letter words that confuse people like, make me sound all deep. Nah, I don't want to sound deep. I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about so you can be inspired to do the same thing that I'm doing too.
I was going to go in a different direction, but something you said just triggered something for me. I work with a lot of experts who are coming from corporate, a lot of times intimidated by social media because the way we are brought up in corporate world is very different from how social media works. Pretty much everything that we were told to do in corporate, we have to F what they told us and literally come over here with throw it a whole brain. right? And come
Yeah,
on. But something you just said is exactly why you see so many persons who are self-taught with no formal education are literally crushing it in the educational platform online. Like we're now in a $1 trillion industry, right? As coaches, mentors, and we're literally seeing that there are guys like you and Trap and a few others who have no formal education, but have formalized education for your students by putting systems and strategies in place, removing all the extra stuff, removing the 4-year degree and giving them, within 6 weeks, you'll be able to master this. And within 6 months, you'll be able to have the experience. I'm going to talk about something else in a little while, because even though you guys are doing that, you still have people who want you to make them millionaires in a day. Like that's not going to happen. Yes. But I want you to talk to me about what would you advise the experts? Because I am seeing this a lot. It happened with me, and you know me personally, so it happened with me, where we have a lot of corporate speak or we have a lot of experts speak because we're experts, right? However, what would you advise someone who is an expert who is looking to acquire a new skill set or use their old skill set to make money in this space? What has been the main thing you see across the board with you and the guys that are dominating in the spaces that you are?
I think first things first, just because you know some information doesn't mean you know how to teach that information. A lot of people think that just because I got it, I did it myself, don't mean you can teach somebody else how to duplicate what you did. So that's a big misconception, because every basketball player can't be a coach, right? And that just is what it is. So a lot of these experts, they got to figure out, do they have the ability and the gift to teach somebody to have the same results as they do? And a lot of times they just don't. So that's why it comes into play where they got to do other things like show their house, show their cars, show them going on a trip, because their information, they can't really teach it. So they just got to showcase their lifestyle. It's different for me. I can teach it. I can teach you how to be just as successful, if not more successful than I have or have been. So I don't have to showcase my lifestyle every 2 minutes on social media. Another thing is also too, you got to have results. You just got to have results. People can know the information, but may not have the results themselves, or may have done something one time and then say, I got it, I know it all. No, you just know the information, but you haven't gone through all the trials and tribulations that this industry can throw at you. So a lot of times, outside of not knowing how to teach somebody, they really don't have their own results and receipts. Just because they know the information, they feel like they can teach it too. And that's not the case. You got to have results from yourself. Like the reason why I love when I tell somebody from the forefront, hey, I do federal government contracting, I can't hide. You can go Google me, my results, all the contracts that I've won since 2011. You can't hide in this space. So when I say I've done something, I got to be tried and true, because somebody can easily go on the internet and go look me up. And I stand tall every time, because my results are, the proof is in the pudding, is dead. So not only am I telling you, hey, I can teach you this, but go look at my track record. Since 2011, I've won over 250 plus federal government contracts. Currently today, my company has 44 withstanding federal government contracts, and 32 of them are 5 years and better. So I got those receipts. I'm still getting them. Plus, I can teach you how to do the same thing I do. So when we talk about experts coming to the space to be teachers, they got to recognize, can they even teach? And then they have the results if somebody goes to look them up to validate.
Oh, God. First of all, I think I need to put something at the beginning of the podcast to warn people to invest in some Black Jamaican castor oil and maybe some edge protection, or maybe tie their edges down, because you just came for all of my listeners' edges. You literally just gathered people's lives. Literally, like, just because you're an expert, you have got to consider, are you someone who can teach? And also, can they serve? Because a lot of people's ego of having the certificate and the things gets in the way of, how do I serve? And I noticed that about you. You are a server. You get to the level of your students, and you, first of all, you're not in awe of anybody. So you get to the level of your student and you bring them to the level that you're carrying them to. And I find that a lot of people, they're trying to talk over people's head and show, okay, I got this. But that is going to have you back in the dust, broke as hell, and watching people with less formal education and your big toe, run circles around you. And their next, as Beyonce said, there's a lot of brown grandchildren on the Forbes list, and it may not be yours. So gather yourself and learn to teach the information, simplify the information at a level that your audience can receive it. And then also get yourself some results before you're out here selling results that you have no business selling.
That's it. That's it. These people, I love the fact that our community especially is finding ways to teach financial literacy, credit, how to obtain certain loans, how to save your money, how to protect your money, how to invest your money. I love that. But if you aren't doing it, if you're not 10 toes down yourself, stop trying to tell somebody else how to do it just because you read a book or two, or you watched a whole bunch of somebody else YouTubes, or you're in somebody else's mentorship program, and now you feel like you got it, but you haven't actually done it yourself. I can talk to any experience because I'm doing it. I haven't done it. I'm doing it currently. And that's just a street thing, right? Coming from the streets. I can't tell you, hey, I got your back if you ain't never seen me fight. I ain't got your back. I don't want you to have my back. I ain't seen you fight a day in your life. Have you ever punched somebody in the face before? I don't need you to have my back. I'm going to go by myself. If I get jumped, I'm going to get jumped. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather get jumped than. That's the street thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. I got to have credibility from over here. So when I step into anybody block, oh, that's Jay. I remember what he did last week, the main man. Cool. It's the same thing in the business world. Oh, that's Jay White, first name, last name. He got 40-something contracts. He can teach me because he's gotten to a level that I need to get to. And you're right, Miss Taylor. I don't speak over nobody's head. I'm going to come to your level because I need you to digest the information because I know how to get you to the level that you're trying to get to. But I can't automatically assume, or I can't start at that point. I got to start where you at so I can help you go where you need to go to. This
is so good. So I want to shift the conversation a little bit. I know you've been on a few podcasts because you've been in these streets doing tours. I'm like, you friends with Rick Ross. I don't know if like this is your, how the music industry, they do tours when they have albums dropping. Yeah. You dropped a course and started doing the federal code tour and all of that. Yeah. I know people have asked you about, and one of your most brilliant stories is about how you won a contract for elevators. You knew nothing about elevators, so on and so forth. I don't want that story because they can go find that story somewhere else. I want something new and fresh. I want you to tell me, because I've been seeing a lot of your students winning. I want you to tell me about a student experience that completely was just like amazing. Because I think there was one where there was a husband and wife where they were playing team, where one was doing the documents and the other one was doing the conversation. So talk to me. You don't have to choose that one. Talk to me about one of your students that's winning, and talk to me about what that feels like when you see your students not just come in the course, but literally show up and run the play.
Man, so I got a young lady. Her name is Miss Teague. So if anybody goes to my Instagram, you'll be able to look up that story, or I can repost it. You can look it up, but it's on my wall. Her name is Miss Teague. She's a middle school teacher, and she bought my course. She kind of played around with it for maybe like a month or two because her school had her busy. Once school let out, she was like, I'm going all in. So she went all in. She was on every single Zoom call asking all these questions. I'm like, so I can tell when one of my students is asking questions or good questions because they're actually putting in the work. I can say, okay, her questions are different because she's asking different type questions. She's actually having activity. She's doing it. So next thing you know, she blew my phone up one day. Just blew my phone up. I think she called me like 5 or 6 times. I was like, what in the world? I look on Instagram. She had about 9 messages on Instagram. She won her first federal government contract, school teacher. I was so proud of her, excited. $77,000 is this lady's profit. She only submitted 2 proposals, period. Lost the first one, won the second one. I'm always extremely excited for anybody that wins a federal government contract, especially because I get attached to my students. Me personally, I don't call, some people call the people they work with clients, and I call them students, right? Because the reason why I call them my students, because I can relate to when I was in school, one of my teachers really cared about me. They really did. One of my teachers really, really cared about me a whole lot. And she used to be like, oh, he is my favorite student. And she was like, I'm never going to leave you behind. Well, obviously, I started messing up on my own, but that's another story. So I like to call the people that purchase my course, I like to call them my students because I'm not leaving anybody behind. I care about each and every individual that cares enough to listen to the sound of my voice and take the information that I'm giving them and try to execute it. So I'm even excited when people submit a proposal for the first time. I'm even shouting that out because most people don't get the information to just do that part. They don't even get the information to do that. But shout out to Miss T. She that contract was exciting. On my live, anybody can go check it out. She talking about I'm about to quit my job and what. She was excited. So yeah, that's one of the best stories to date because she had so much emotion. She went into her story a little bit more about all the things that she was going through. She wanted to quit. She wanted to stop, but she just kept coming to every single Zoom call. And then she got the results that she wanted. And boom, she up 77,000 on them.
Come on. Wow. That is a good story. I actually see that's an even better story because, when people hear your story about the elevator, that's good. But I wanted people to see that you have students that are winning. So people always talk about themselves and then onboard people. And then people come in and it's like, this is not, because I realize this. A lot of the gurus sell things that are not duplicatable. If people ever done direct sales or network marketing, you understand that systems have to be duplicatable that you're sharing. And what I like is, you're not just sharing something that has worked for you, but now it is proven and tested that it's duplicatable, regardless of wherever you are in your career, in the industry, regardless of how much money you're making, as long as you stay connected. So you just touched on another thing that I want to educate my audience on. And there's a rule of the 10, 20, 70 rule. And it's a rule of how we grow and learn. 10% is from books or courses, 20% is from community, and 70% is from taking action. And you have all three opportunity for your people when they work with you. And I think that's the best program. You provide them with the course, which is 10%. You can give them all the game, but it's still 10%. And at the end of the day, she kept coming to the Zoom call, which is your accountability and community. And then she took the action. And when her 70% combined with the 30%, and people tend to think coaches, we're going to give them a blue pill or a red pill. But the coaches is really putting you in position and then putting you in a container that holds you accountable. But at the end of the day, the 70% to take you over the edge is your consistency to take action. And take imperfect action until you get a result.
All the time too, I tell them, I don't know you. I say, I don't know you. I don't know your IQ level. That's not how smart you are. That's your I quit level. Life can punch you in the face and then you can just quit. You done. Right. And
wait. Repeat that for the people in the back. Repeat that for the people in the back. You gotta, because your terminology. You need a terminology book.
I tell them, I don't know you. I said, I don't know you. I don't know you. And I start off by saying, I don't know your IQ level. That's not how smart you are. That's your I quit level, right? IQ, I quit level. Once life punch most people in the face, they lay down. They say, oh, it's not working. It's not for me. I need to just continue to do something else. But the other people, the 10%, the 5%, the 3%, the 1%, they're going to get punched in the face too. But they're going to get right back up and keep going because they know that this works. If it works for somebody else, it can definitely work for me too. So people being persistent on their own, like you said, that's a big piece. That's 70%. I like that stat. I'm gonna start saying it. That's big. If you're not putting into action, my words can't do nothing for you. If you can't put in the action in, my words do nothing for you. So that IQ level got to be high.
Yeah, I know that because I think there's been a misunderstanding of what coaches do, an expectation that the coach does the work for you. And that's different for done for you service versus a coach. A coach is not a done for you. A coach is a guide. You become the hero in your story and the coach guides you through and it helps you to navigate missteps, failures. You're still going to have your own failures, but now you get to compact the amount of time that you're going to spend in the learning or failure phase. And now you have a support system when you do fail. With that said, I want to shift a little bit. What is one thing that you would leave with the audience for 2022? What is one mindset Jay White is taking into 2022 in terms of your play, whether it's a mindset or a strategy? What is one thing that you would leave with people that you think if they do that one thing, it will help them this year?
Just do it. If you just do it, that's going to help you. I know you want to research the research. I know you want to make sure this is right for you. I know you want to do all of that. But if you just do it and don't be afraid that what if it's not for you? Now what? So what? What if you're always going to learn. You're never going to fail. You're never going to lose. You're always going to learn. I tell people all the time, look, the reason why I'm not afraid to jump out the window head first and build my parachute on the way down is because of my background. You can't, if I lose everything today, I'll be able to make it right back in 6 months because I've already been there and done that. So you people have to get out there and get these life experiences and just do it. Stop procrastinating, stop slowing down, stop hesitating. If you want a different life, you got to go grab it. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. So if you really want it, you got to go get it. So I'm giving the motto, just do it. I'm taking over Nike's motto. Just do it. That's what I'm saying for the whole 2022.
I like that. I think we've seen a lot of leaders answer that if they literally, what is the one thing they would do different? And always at the top between the 1 to 3 is make more mistakes quicker, learn lessons quicker, and fail quicker. It's always those things, because I think the level of your income and community determines your mindset towards failure. I think at the lower level of the education spectrum and the middle class spectrum, people tend to think of failure as final, versus when we start getting into the top 3 to 1%, right, which is a very few people, we start realizing that they realize that failure is necessary. So you have one group of people who believe failure is final and another group of people who believe failure is necessary. And what I've always known is success leaves clues. So don't take my word for it. Look at who is leading successfully and you decide, is failure final or is failure necessary? So with that said, I want you to tell us about your program. Tell us what cities you're going to be in for the next few months, and tell us how we can reach you on social media.
Oh, I love it. So IG is at @IamJasonWhite_. Check me out. If you talk to me, I'm going to talk back. I'm going to get to you. I promise you. I answer all my DMs myself. It ain't my team. It's me, straight up. And then you can go to thefederalcode.com. There, I have my digital course where I take you through A through X about all things federal government contract. I never say Z because we don't want it to end. We want residual, ongoing checks month after month after month. So I carry you through A through X. We ain't trying to end it, so I never say Z. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing the Federal Code Tour back. So we're going to do Chicago. We're going to do LA. We're going to do the New York area. And then the last but not least city, I'm doing my last one in the DMV area. So we're attacking those 4 cities for the Federal Code Tour. If everybody in North Carolina got to come to the DMV this time. I went to North Carolina last year. So at @IamJasonWhite_. You can check me out there. My social media popping. Every Friday, I do Ask Me Anything Friday. So let's just say you can't afford the course. Ask me questions on my IG. I'm going to answer them truthfully and in depth every single Friday on IG. And then check me out on thefederalcode.com.
I love it. And people need to know this because you're very humble. If you're going to go to his live program, you need to buy your ticket as urgent as possible. So go to his website. The list of his dates will be there and you want to grab your seat. Here's why. He came to Charlotte and literally, I don't know what happened with his system, but his program oversold. And he had to refund people because Jason does not like to have large audience. He likes to be able to touch and see and connect and help as many people. And most people sell you workshop and it's really a masterclass or a full session. When you go to his session, you will have actionable steps and you would have been able to practice. I've literally heard of Jason making people make calls while they're in there. I've literally heard him have people pulling up the contracts and literally looking for the specialist and then call in the specialist right there in front of their other classmates, not to intimidate you, but so you can get practice around a safe space. So he's going to create a safe space. It's going to be intimate. And I promise you, it's very much going to be oversold because he's co-signed by so many of your favorite people in the education as well as the entertainment space. So if you want to take it to the next level, create another stream of income, get with winners, the conversation is different. With that said, Jason, I want to ask you one last thing. What would you say when you think F what they told you? What was one thing that people told you that you're glad you're able to literally kick it to the curve? And literally every day by you winning, it's literally telling them F what you told me, because that's nothing.
Man, everybody told me quit, man. Like, you ain't want a contract by now, just quit. F what they told me. Man, you shouldn't even be doing this. You don't even like to read. F what they told me. Why are you still working at the gas station? Leave here, come over here. F what they told me, because I needed to work at that gas station because I needed that time. I need to continue to put that time in. Had I left the gas station and went to work at another job that had less time constraints, I wouldn't been able to self-educate myself properly on federal government contracting. F what they told me. I'm here today because I said that literally back in 2008. F what they told me.
Got bars. We got bars. I love it. Jason, thank you so much for this time. I appreciate you. You literally, I mean, you're blowing up. I'm still taking notes and coming right behind you.
We there.
We there, right. But I mean, some people are so funny, right? When they start getting certain level of exposure. And I know, you've been on some major explosive podcasts. I want to thank you for taking the time to come here and speak to my audience. I know they're going to appreciate it. This is something I will literally listen to over and over. Like, if you ever feel like, oh my God, I can't do it, Jay White is literally a podcast you'll need to come back to and just listen to it, even if you find your favorite snippet, because I'm like, which one am I gonna post?
Yeah,
there's so many good. Yeah, so with that said, thank you so much. That's it from us, from F What They Told You podcast for this week.